Hi, how is everyone today? Today I did diagrams and we're going to be discussing what I did diagrams on. But the first thing I want to say to everyone who donated to me, thank you very much from the bottom of my heart to the top of my heart. It was very, very much appreciated, and I'm going to be using that money toward several things, but one of them is going to be my appeal for my case. So that'll give me funds to do something about the scenario that I'm in. So again, I thank every single one of you that donated. Thank you very, very much. And if you couldn't donate, I understand that completely too, because of the world we live in now. But that's a topic for another day. So let's get started about what I'm going to talk about. First, I'm going to show this first diagram, our fractal reality. So as you see in this diagram, this is where we came from. We hit that precipice point there, and time started to slow down, going into the next reality. So basically 2023 is when we hit the precipice point. It ran for several months when we were in that point, and 2024 is our new reality. So as we progress onward and onward, our skies are going to get redder and redder and redder in this new reality. So as you recall, time was speeding up so fast going down the funnel. And now we're in 2024 and we're coming out of it into the new Kachina. A lot of shenanigans are going on with our holographic sky so that we don't see what's going on. If you go outside and you look into the sky, you're going to notice that there's a few constellations that you've probably never seen before, because our realm is moving underneath of us, and that is stationary. I noticed this one constellation that looks like a rectangle with stars, and inside of the rectangle are 3 visible bright stars. Boom, 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 right there. I'd never seen that before, and I was an avid sky watcher with my telescopes for many, many decades, actually. So that's because we're going into the new reality. So I'm not going to be able to post anything into my description since I've been a bad girl and I'm not trustworthy. I can't even put my diagrams into posting into my description, nor can I pin any comments since I'm so bad. According to YouTube. So that's our first diagram. I did a question and answer in the very back of this, which I will address also. But here's our point. We have met it. We have gone through it. We're now going into 2024, which is this way. And onward and upward we go. So here's the next thing. This is our dome reality. So I actually colored the 4 quadrants, and we're in quadrant number 4 right now. And I had noticed something that had come to me for the first time that I had not noticed before. This has a sun, this has a sun, and this one has a sun. Oh, here, maybe I'm bad. Here, this one has a sun, this one has a sun, and this one has a sun. So 3 yellow suns in total. What I didn't see is that the quadrant we're in now, number 4, which is our future, does not contain any sun of its own. And I was quite blown away because I had seen 4 suns. But what I was looking at was suns that were coming in from other quadrants. And so let me see what I wrote on here. This one is, there is in our Dyson sphere, in this reality we're in, and this is the playing field, we have like a tube that goes up and down of the middle where the green sun is, and it's going up and down. And I do know in 2017 it hit its zenith, and that's the green sun, the one that causes the aurora borealis, and it's going up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. So that thing is rising also. It hit its zenith why aurora borealises were all over the world in 2017, because it was at its highest stature that it had been for a long time. and now it's going back down again, so we won't be having all those aurora borealises like we did at one point. Remember, they were in Chicago and they were here and there and wherever. That's because it hit its zenith going up in this direction, which caused all of this. Interesting though, because 2017 was when we got moved to the new quadrant, this quadrant. So that's that one. Now let's go to the next one where I'm talking about, please stop the video and look at the diagrams. This is another one. I should actually show this one next. Let me do this one next. This is our dome basin. And I'm going to hold this up here for a while because this is a little bit confusing. But I tried to color code it so you could understand it. So each one of these quadrants has a full yellow sun. Our one that we're in now does not. So what we're experiencing is, I color coded this the same as this one. So we see in the morning and in the evening, this quadrant sun and this quadrant sun. So quadrant 1 and 3, we see the sun in quadrant 1 and 3, which is why we have the sun simulator in between, because right now we should be in the dark time and it's being artificially, that's that white light you're seeing. That's why we're seeing two suns. We're seeing the sun simulator and we're seeing one of these two suns that hit our quadrant from these quadrants. Now, what's really interesting in this is that this one only gets two suns at a given time, and number 1 and number 3 in the quadrants can see two suns at a given time. It can see 2 and 3, or it can see 2 and 1 at any given time, and it's always up in the area where the quadrant is, two suns. There is only one quadrant, quadrant number 2, where you have 3 given yellow suns. Because not only do you get its original sun, you get the sun from this quadrant and the sun from this quadrant. And that's why in our history, we have 3 suns, but only in the number 2 quadrant. So it marks the time and space, even though there's no such thing, of when the 3 suns were actually seen. That's a big one. It marks where you are in the quadrants. So if you're in the 3 suns quadrants, you're in number 2. If you're in the 2 suns quadrants, you're in either 1 or 3. And if you're only in the half sun, which you're getting a half of this sun for a little bit in the morning and a half and a little bit in the evening, then you're in quadrant 4, which should be completely dark. And they talk about 3 days of darkness. It isn't 3 days of darkness. It's the entire quadrant would be dark, because of the lack of a sun, other than the aurora borealis green sun, and don't forget the black sun that runs the entire gamut of this reality. So I had done a video on the black sun and why it's in our quadrant now and how it affects us and what's it there to do. So please go find that video so I don't have to keep rehashing that. But it's there to open you up and get your abilities back on par, what's been taken from us through our avatar, because we've been so shut down. But please look at this and understand how the suns are working. There are 3 suns in these quadrants. There is no sun in our 4th quadrant, and we are only seeing the suns from the quadrants beside us, and that's why it's only in the morning and in the evening. And you'll see a huge difference between this quadrant sun and this quadrant sun. So in the morning, we see it yellow, and in the evening, we see it yellow. And you can feel it's a different kind of feeling because the sun simulator is a burning hot white light. It's horrible. So this is the only time you're going to be leveling up for these 2 suns because they're from the other quadrants. And then, of course, we have that horrible sun simulator. We have multiple sun simulators in our entire reality. I'm only showing you this to let you know that the simulators are in between the morning and the evening. And that is huge. Now we should be in darkness, and of course, we are not because of the sun simulators. And I don't know exactly how many there are, but there are quite a few sun simulators out there because nobody wants to be in the dark. So, of course, hiding our quadrant with falsities. And I wonder how it would be if we didn't have the sun simulators. We'd probably be a mad mess. People would be going off the deep end, and the elites wouldn't be able to control neurotic, crazy people. So they got to keep the status quo going so that you keep going and you keep producing, and you don't know what you're going through because you're all geared to die because of the you know what's meat in you. Why are they all digging under the ground for their little bunkers and what have you? There you go. So please look at that. Even stop if you need to and just kind of look at this for the suns and understand why everything is happening the way it's happening. So then here's the next one. And this might be a little bit more self-explanatory. This is our dome, and these are our quadrants. And you can see that we are definitely sharing these suns here, and this one here too. It's very interesting. And I've got the sun simulator that takes over when this sun goes back and around, and there's the sun simulator when it goes back and around. And this is this sun where we're only getting the edges of it, so we only get it for like a little over I think it's right around an hour to an hour and 10 minutes, maybe 15 in the morning and in the evening. And then we got to talk about, and I'm going to do it now, so look at that real quick and see that's how our sun is, and this is all would be in the dark otherwise. So I want to talk about, and put that down, and I want to talk about this again. When we're going through, do I have that upside down? No, it's good. The red and the blue Kachina, and now that we're in the red Kachina, as time goes by, our skies are going to be getting purple, red, and pink. And the more we go into that spiral up, the more purple, red, and violet colors it'll become until we go up and out of this reality. Now, I wrote down some questions that I'm going to try to go into depth with for if anybody would have a question about this that I could think of. I was also talking to Bernadette, and she posed a couple questions myself. So we'll start with question 1. What are the suns? Yellow, green, and black. And it was an interesting question. What are the suns? They're energy beings, just like you and me and Gaia. They're energy beings who decided to take on a role. This is a simulation, and there are many roles to be played. So they're an energy being. They're not as diminished as we are. In our avatar suits, we are extremely diminished because the avatar has locked us down. The suns are not. They're in a form, even though it's in this simulation, but they have more of their ability as an energy being than we have for a long shot. Also, the yellow, green, and black sun have something that we might not be aware of, and that is when you're here with us in this reality, in these avatars, time is going by extremely quickly. Now, the suns are out here, the green, the black, and the yellows, and they're energy beings. But because they're removed from the middle and out here, their time is going by slowly, very slowly. So we could be living like a whole lifetime. And to the actual energy beings, which are the suns, that might only be an hour or two for them. We are just going flying by like a cartoon being made where you have 1,000 pictures to make a little scene. That's the difference between those energy beings as portrayed as the sun in those avatars versus us in the middle. We are just sitting and spinning, and time is going by fast, 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 which is why those suns can be around for a very long time. Because they're going so much slower, they're not using as much energy, they're not feeling the time. How would I say that? You're not feeling every single minute. You're removed. The further you go back out where the suns are, time kind of slows down. If you want to look at it like that, it's just slow, 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 slow. So if I went out to where the suns are, in their reality and also what they're comprised of, inside of them, time is going slow, 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 where we're just going spinning, spinning, spinning. Whole lifetimes, whole centuries could pass, and it doesn't diminish their being in the slightest or tarnish them. It's like they're outside of this time and space here. And I thought that was really interesting. So wrap your head around that. Yet they can communicate with us, but differently. It's just completely differently. Why we feel so good when we go out into the sun. Okay, number 2. When did we hit the middle point of the change to the new timeline chakra? So, of course, I already said it. It was right here between 2023 and then we went into 2024. In 2023, June till October, we hit the total midpoint, which is right before it turned over into the new spiral Kachina reality, the red. So for months, we plateaued into the middle and everything just kind of did this, just kind of, okay, we're here, we're buoyant, nothing's really happening, something's trying to happen. Artificial things were done by different species and humans to make you believe something was happening, so they had to create it. But in reality, energetically, we were in like a stasis point where we didn't go up, we didn't go down, we were just floating. And that was from June till October. Actually, it went a little bit into September, October. And I think it was over at the end of October. I can't exactly gauge it by the day, but I can kind of gauge it by the month, only because when I see it, then we got some movement going upward again from where we were. So that was really interesting. Okay, number 3. How does it work that the transition from the real suns to the sun simulator? I will get this and show you this again. When the sun simulators are turned on, they're turned on right toward the end point of these 2 quadrant suns coming into our view. This is when you see the double suns. Double suns. It's always in the evening or in the morning. It's really bizarre. Now, don't forget, we do have the black sun in this quadrant. So when you look up, you'll see a dark spot in the sky, and you'll look all around the edges of the dark spot, and you'll see in the sky that it's all real light blue, except for the one little dark spot where that black sun is. And that's why you have a deep dark blue like right here, and yet all around it, it's real light blue. And that's how you can see the black sun. The black sun is very interesting also, and I've said this before, is because it does put out a form of heat. That's why sometimes at night, it's warmer in the evening than it is in the day, especially in the fall. And in the spring, it seems to have a bigger impact in the fall and the spring, with it being warmer in the evening than the actual day. It's bizarro. So, okay. Now, number 4. In what direction does the Dome Basin run, clockwise or counterclockwise? This is a very interesting one. So, here we go again. One of these runs clockwise and the other one runs counterclockwise. Here's the thing. I can't decipher what is clockwise and what is counterclockwise, because when I'm looking at it, it's just moving to me. I see it going a direction, but it's not a direction like I'm standing here and I'm going right or I'm going left. It's not like that at all when I see it energetically. So one of these is clockwise and one of these is counterclockwise. And somebody who can decipher this could please tell me which one of these is clockwise and counterclockwise, because I can't distinguish it. I just know it's moving in different directions. So that's another thing too. We're either going forward or we're going backward. The opposite, because these things run in opposites. So interesting. Okay, let's do another one. Okay, Number 5. How long does a quadrant run, or the speed? Well, in the quadrants, let me get the pictures of the quadrants again. It's the most interesting thing. This number 1 quadrant runs extremely slow. This one's a little bit faster. Number 2 and number 3 is running faster than 2. And number 4 is the fastest, running for a span of time. So say this one runs, I don't know, you can do it by years. Say this is 1,000 years, and this one would be 800 years, and this would be 600 years, and this one's going to be like 4. Now, that's not the exact time frame. I'm just using that as an example of speed. So basically slow, a little bit faster, then a little bit faster, and then we're just speeding in number 4. Now, all of this, I guess I'll wait till my last question before I answer that, and I was going to answer it. Okay, number 6. Talk about leaving the quadrants, what happens? Now, this is where I was going to say that. That's my last question. What happens to the beings that are in quadrant 1? We're all being weighed and measured in each quadrant if we make it. So the ones that didn't make quadrant 1, those beings are still in quadrant 1, and then the next ones go to 2. And then the same thing happens. If you don't make it in quadrant 2, then you stay, and if you do make it, you go to quadrant 3. And the same thing is from quadrant 3 to quadrant 4 if you make it. When I talk about people not making this, it's because you didn't make it. Now, here's the big question. So, how come everything still looks the same? Roger still looks like Roger, and Dave looks like Dave, and Rebecca looks like Rebecca. But is it really? Is this why in quadrant 4 we have the most NPCs than we ever had before, and why this quadrant feels so unreal versus what we had been in before? That's it exactly. If you're left behind, you'll stay there. But in the duplication of quadrant 4, an NPC will be playing you, because the being that was inside the NPC simply didn't make it. And that's how that works. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is why we have so many NPCs in our last quadrant. And so whoever doesn't make this in quadrant 4 shall remain in quadrant 4, and the rest shall move upward and onward completely off of this chart altogether, because this is the base of where you begin and where you go from there. Remember, this reality was only created in the very beginning for the ones that could not ascend to a higher vibration. Everything is vibration and frequency. If you don't match the frequency, you cannot reside in the higher frequency. You'll blow apart. You simply won't be able to be there. This is why this was designed to begin with, to get you up and out. But meanwhile, while we were in this, we could use it as, at one time before it got completely corrupted, as a vacation or a learning or a this or that or what have you. But now, because of where we are and what has happened, of course, a bunch of us had to come in and try to re-educate everyone, get everyone back up to par, put down your religions, put down your whatever, and find that the only one that's going to save you is you. You are going to save you with what? Knowledge. Knowledge that this is what we're in, this is a simulation, and we need to go up and out. Get out of the box, crawl out if you have to, and start re-educating yourself about what you're going to do. I do know that in religion, and it's a big one, that somebody's supposed to come in and rescue you like Superman. You are the Superman. You are the ones you were waiting for, yourself. The fact that you found this channel and you can get verifications about what I am saying is a big deal. So take all this information, think about it, see what resonates with you, and do something. Raise your vibration no matter what is thrown at you. It's also to see if you can hold that vibration so you can go to the next up and out. And I'm not going to say it's easy because we all have things we have to deal with. And it looks like our world is crumbling and crashing down. But we are in the apocalypse, and that means it's time to movers and shakers have to do something. We have to do something. We need to wake everyone up. We need to wake ourselves up first. Remember that you are Superman. You are an all-powerful energy. God, you are a part of Source. In this reality, we are collecting ourselves. Of course we are. And the more shards that we get within ourselves, well, the better you'll be. And have the ability to, whatever comes your way, do like I do. Act like you're a third person. Remove yourself from any given scenario. Step back and look at it without any kind of emotion. Whatever has happened to you, you're going to look at it and you're going to say, okay, now I see choices here and here. Remember, this is only a partial free will realm. If this was completely free, well, we wouldn't even be here. We are only given free will of choices A, B, C, D, E, F, and G, and that's about it. Other than that, not a free will realm. So, okay, I'm rambling and rambling on, but I wanted to thank everybody who gave me donations. It's very, very appreciated. I was a bit surprised that I even got donations because I really wasn't expecting anything. So I was very happy that I did get something, and it was more than I thought I would ever get, that I didn't think I'd get anything. So thank you again for that. It was really hard for me to come to this point to even ask, but now I'm glad I did, so I can move forward in my reality too. Okay, on that note, everybody, have a great day, and I'll see you on my next video, and raise those vibrations. Bye.